Today is our part 2 of our 10 questions. So let's jump into it. Question number 1 is, what are the closing costs and who pays for what in Virginia? So in Virginia, the seller pays the grantor's tax, and they pay, if they're in Fairfax, Arlington, Fairfax City, Falls Church in Alexandria, they pay an additional tax called the WMATA, and it's a congestion relief tax. And it's always a joke at closing that sellers are like, seriously, we're leaving the area and we have to pay this congestion relief tax. And yes, you do. Both of those fees are $1 per thousand. The buyers, on the other hand, will pay the recordation tax, which is city and state, the lender's fees, appraisal fee, title insurance, and they've already prepaid their EMD. So the buyers run approximately 2 to 5% of taxes, or I guess I should say of fees at closing, and sellers run more 6 to 8%, I would say, and that does include commissions. And in Virginia, I've never seen that crossed over. So buyers pay buyer fees and seller pay seller fees. Okay, this is one that comes up. Can I appeal my property tax assessment, and does it ever work? It does work. It is hard. So the appeal usually has 2 levels: an administrative review with the assessor's office and equalization if that fails. So basically, you can't go in there and argue, my taxes went up, because we know they've been going up year after year. But if you have 3 comparable sales and those sales are below your tax assessment, basically you have to have real data if you want to have a fighting chance. Question number 3, how do school pyramids work? And does buying in a good school or good pyramid really pay off? So when we talk about school pyramid, everywhere around the country is a little different, but we're talking about the elementary, the middle, and the high. So that would be a high school pyramid. People do buy for schools. Bottom line, you're going to pay a premium if you want certain schools over another area. Now, certainly people fall in love with houses and they're like, okay, I accept the schools, or some people shop strictly for the schools. There's a couple things to keep in mind about this. Boundaries can change. Fairfax County did not change for 40 years. They just went through a huge boundary change that affected many, many people. They also don't open schools a lot because we are, such an old school system, and our land is mostly developed already. But Skyview High School will open next year. That is a big deal. Again, we don't open schools a lot in Fairfax County. You think you're buying into one and it changed. So this does happen. So you want to make sure that you're not just buying for resale in that specific school system. Obviously, if you have kids that will be going there and you have a community that you love, that's when it makes sense. So just be careful to not buy for resale. You want to be able to enjoy where you are, because some things change. Our next question is number 4. Is new construction a better deal than resale in Nova right now? As I speak to, we don't have a lot of new construction in our area. Certainly you can go a county away. There is resale in Loudon. There's little pockets in Fairfax, but here are some things to keep in mind. So here's the pros for new construction. You've got builder incentives. You've got, with rates hovering, between 6 and 7%, they offer a lot of rate buy downs. They cover closing costs. They throw in a finished basement, whatever. So that's a good thing. You obviously don't have any maintenance for quite a while. Modern systems, open concept, everything you love. Here's the case against. So they do charge lot premiums. They do option pricing. So as they release different levels, they increase pricing. Delivery delays are always a thing. And you're buying in a community where the builder is continuing to sell competition to your property. So your near-term appreciation is obviously not going to be as strong as it might in a resale. Just keep all that in mind. It's not a pro or a con against buying, but it's just things to think about. The other thing that's really important is when you walk into that new sales community, the builder's agent is not working for you. So they may be wonderful and give you all the information, but they represent the builder. So it is important that you walk in for the first time with an agent. because they will be then working on your behalf, not on the builder's behalf. So most people don't understand that. They just think it's a sales agent, but they are getting paid to represent the builder. Question number 5, how much can I actually afford when the median house price is over $800,000? So the median sold price in Fairfax in May of 26 was $812,000. So you have to look at the whole payment, right? You don't shop like sales price, you shop your monthly payment. And that's why having a good lender is also important, because they're going to break down the fees for you. So you understand how much is actually going to your mortgage, how much is the homeowner's insurance, how much is taxes, the HOA or condo fee. And if you go really far out, you need to also put in there as a monthly of your commuting expenses, tolls. That can rack up. If you're doing the Dulles Greenway, that's going to rack up very fast. So you want to look at the whole thing and get a payment breakdown, not just a specific price. We are lucky in this area that we don't have to go into the jumbo world a lot. Conforming rates, the loan limit right now in the DC Metro is $1,249,125, so basically $1,250,000. So that is good news. We are very lucky to have that. Number 6, the big debate. What does the data center boom mean for my home value? So George Mason actually has a great center, and they study a lot of this stuff. So they studied thousands of Nova home sales and found that the further a home was from a data center, the lower its sales price. I know that is hard to believe. Homes closer to data centers tended to sell for more. That was single family home, townhomes, and condos. So it's a little shocking. So why? That's the question. Data centers get built where there is infrastructure, good roads, power, fiber, jobs, airport access, right? So they're not out in the middle of nowhere. They're usually in an area that has high volume. So those same things make homes valuable. So Loudoun County is data center capital of the world. And they are also one of the most expensive housing markets in the country, right? So that's not accidental. It does make you shake your head a little bit. But now, there's some caveats. Homes immediately adjacent to the campus have some issues. They have cooler and generator noise, industrial lighting, construction traffic. 26 health assessment found measurable quality of life impacts from noise and air quality. So it's not all, pretty, but there is not showing so far an immediate drag on home values. Do you want your neighbor to be a data center? I'm not sure, but anyway, that's what the data shows. Number 7, does living near the Silver Line actually add value? The Silver Line runs through Tysons, Reston, Herndon, out to Ashburn and Dulles. Does it add value? Of course it adds value, but it really adds value for condos and townhouses. So those are aimed at commuters. It doesn't add as much value for single family home owners because they're going to get in their car and drive, but you get the generation that is, commuting in. They want to take public transit and not fight DC traffic or whatever, and get some podcasts in and get some books read, etc. It is great for townhouse and condos. So you can kind of see that in the areas that the Silver Line has popped up. So return to office has been a huge thing over the last 3 years, I would say. So these little areas are definitely increasing in value. Number 8, townhouse or condo versus single family. What should I know? So you're really talking about 3 different products. So condos have the highest monthly fees and the least control. So part of that is because you don't own your roof, you don't own your land, you don't have to maintain all of that. So you're paying for that convenience. Single family obviously gives you the most control, the fewest fees, but the biggest surprise repairs. So it really depends on what stage of life you're in, not necessarily affordability. It's really, what do I want? Do I have a second home that I go to every weekend and just want to lock up my first home? Probably condo or townhouse is a smarter move for you. If you are like, I just want to own my land, I want to do whatever I want, make sure you don't buy in an HOA. But then it's going to be a single family home or a townhouse if that's better for your budget, because you own, everything about it. So financing, this is important. Condos are subject to the Fannie Freddie project review rules, which is something that's actually coming in August, which means the building's finances can block your loan even if you have stellar credit. So that's important. Townhomes, an HOA, POA generally don't face the project level review. And then resale value. This is probably the most important. Resale value in a shifting market. So condos and townhomes are the entry point. When the environment is rate sensitive, like we are now, condos tend to soften first. So when affordability tightens, condos are a little harder to sell. So we're seeing that now. Condos are sitting on the market a lot longer than townhomes or single family homes. So again, just something to consider. Number 9, escalation clauses. Do they work? So if you don't know what an escalation clause is, it basically says, I will beat this other offer by X amount, but I won't go further than Y. So I will go $20,000 over the last person, the last offer, but I will not exceed, blank. So the important thing to know here is your cap is kind of your real offer. You are showing the seller what you're willing to pay. So they don't have to play by the rules. They can just counter at that top price. So you have to be willing to pay that. Obviously, you don't have to accept. But if you really want the home, you might just overpay, and you have to be okay with that. Escalation doesn't fix a low appraisal. So the appraisal could still come in lower, and you just have to have the cash to be able to pay the difference. So you have to know that up front. Again, a lot of education when using an escalation addendum. And sometimes a clean offer beats a higher one. So you might, say, I'll pay $20,000 more than the last guy, but you have a home inspection, it's contingent on appraisal, you have radon, all these things. They just might go for the clean offer that is $10,000 less and say, I don't want to deal with it. So you don't always know your audience. It's a strategy. It's being strategic with your agent, and you just have to think through those things. Lastly, number 10, biggest question I ever get, is it a good time to buy or sell? The best time to buy or sell is when you need to buy or sell. If you are in a position to be able to time it perfectly, the market usually heats up in the spring. Sometimes spring starts in January, sometimes it starts in April. Hard to know or hard to predict. If you can time it, you're probably going to time a spring market. July, August tend to be a little quieter, but we get a little rally in September. Is that going to happen in a month and a half? I don't know, we'll see. But it's hard to consider, again, what is your plan? Are you also buying in the same market as you're selling in? Then it probably doesn't matter, because if you're going to buy in the spring, you're going to get a higher sales price for your home anyway. So it's kind of, if you're going to do it in September or October, it's going to be, you're going into the same market. But if you already have something in some other destination and you're trying to time it perfectly, maybe spring is the best. But the correct answer to that is when it's right for your family and your move and your life situation. So hopefully these top 10 were helpful to you. Give me a ring, 703-969-0471, or you can find me at getkeyedup.com. Thanks so much.